Going to work or living in a new country or in a new culture environment sounds like an exciting journey. However, challenge might also be part of the equation. So how ready are you? Hi, this is Betty. Welcome to the podcast of Cross-Culture Journey in 21st Century. In this series of podcasts, we will jump out the traditional box of cross-culture topics as usual and take some really up-to-date and closer look at those still unsolved challenges and new topics that people are facing in cross-culture environment in 21st century. Last time, we have talked about how the background of audience, not necessarily the national culture background of speaker, can influence the speaker's choice of cross-culture communication style. Today, let's talk about how sometimes the speaker's intentions of showing politeness or courtesy to the other side through using euphemism can unexpectedly lead to ineffective cross-culture communication and understanding. So first of all, it is important to aware that in every culture, there are certain topics can be considered sensitive or taboo for people from that certain culture background to discuss publicly or directly. So people invent what we call euphemism to make conversation less awkward and less inconvenient if they have to address that topics anyhow. And because different cultures have different sensitive and taboo topics, so the expression of euphemism used in the different cultures can be very different too. And they are often specific culture and language oriented. Meaning a person from country A, even though has studied and can speak the language of country B, there is still great possibility that he or she cannot decode the meanings of euphemism that used by native language speakers for country B. For example, there are different expressions in English to express somebody's death, like pass away, breathe your last, go to heaven, rest in peace, go west, so on and so forth. People from non-native English language background and also coming from non-native Western culture environment usually have less opportunity to expose to those expressions. So it is very hard for them to understand what the those expressions mean, even if they can recognize each English vocabularies in those phrases and also understand what death means. And also, euphemism is very widely used to show respect to other peoples in communications. And the different euphemisms that be invented and used are also both specific language and culture-oriented. For example, it is considered very rude to call people who are 80 years old as old people in Western culture. So euphemisms such as senior citizens, the elderly people are created. However, these expressions can confuse non-native English language speakers, even if they can speak English language as their foreign language. They aren't necessarily able to recognize these are euphemisms, not to mention knowing how they should interpret phrases like this beyond their literal meanings. So, as you can see, sometimes even though it is people's best intention to use euphemism to avoid or minimize inconvenient experience when discussing certain sensitive topics, a soothing conversation, or showing respect to others in communication. Still, in the context of cross-culture and cross-language communication, the good intention of the speaker can lead to failures of understanding from the audience side, when audience and speakers are coming from different native culture and language background. So think twice when considering using euphemism in cross-culture and cross-language communication activities. Especially be careful with those euphemisms which you might have already taken for granted and are not even realizing you're using expression euphemism, because these are usually the ones cause most troubles for effect cross-culture understandings. And this is today's show. My name is Betty. I'll see you next time. Bye.